James Holder, iFL TV, in association with MTK Global. I'm in Manchester today. I'm quite lucky enough to be joined by Sean McGOLDRIck. How are you, Sean?
Very good, thank you. How are
I've
you?
got to say, congratulations on finding me. It's been a little bit of an adventure in itself, mate, hasn't it? Tell the iFL TV viewers what happened.
Well, James asked me, he said, you in the Radisson? I said, yeah. So he said, I'll come up to 223. So I've gone up to 223, knocked the door, stood there for about 5 minutes. I thought I'm going to check my message. You know, maybe he was on the toilet or something. So
Easy.
so I messaged him. As I messaged him, some guys come up behind me like to get in his room, and it's definitely not James, some bald guy. And then, yeah, it turns out it's the wrong Radisson. So there's two Radissons in Manchester. So,
So we've discovered there's two Radissons in Manchester, and there's a bald guy in the other room.
That's right.
So here we go. Let's talk a little bit about yourself. I mean, you've had a fantastic amateur pedigree. I know you was a 2010 Commonwealth Games gold medalist. Bit of controversy in there as well thrown in, which we love at iFL TV. But firstly, let's talk a little bit about your decision to make that transition into the paid ranks.
I wanted to go to the Olympic Games. That was always my target. I didn't make that, so I just thought rather than wait for another 4 years, it was time to give the pro ranks a chance and see how I get on doing that.
What was the logic behind going with Eddie Hearn and MATCHROOM Sport? What was the decision that you and your team come to?
Eddie Hearn sort of speaks for himself, I think, in MATCHROOM in what they've done with all the GB boxers. You know, they give all the GB boys great opportunities, great chances, and I think with their guidance and MTK's management and all that, I think I think they're going to give me every opportunity and every chance to go as far as I can go.
You mentioned MTK. What's it been like signing with the MTK as your management? How did that come about?
So soon as I couldn't qualify to the Olympics and stuff, it was obviously time to turn professional. So I spoke to some of the guys at MTK, and they were just the best about, like, you know. Again, they speak for themselves in what they're doing in boxing at the minute, and soon as they were on the table, that was, it was a no-brainer for me.
What's it been like having the opportunity to go out to the MTK gym in Spain, MTK Marbella? Because I know you've done a lot of your training at St Joseph's in Newport, which I'm imagining is very different from the surroundings of MTK Marbella. So what's it been like having the experience? Yeah,
it's amazing, and again, that was probably one of the positives of joining MTK Marbella, along with many others. That it's got a fantastic gym at Marbella. They've got different gyms all around Great Britain as well, but the Marbella gym's amazing. With a bit of sun and luxury, is nice out there.
Tell us what life was like for you before you decided to turn pro. Then you said you was at St Joseph's in Newport. Yeah. What's that gym like, and what's it like for you, life day to day?
It is a good gym. It's full of professional boxers anyway. So I don't know. It was just pretty much, life's different now. I train harder, I work harder and stuff. But before I turned professional with her, I was on the GB squad as well for 6 years. So I was based in Sheffield Monday to Thursday. So a lot of my training was done there, and then I'll come home to St Joseph's then on the weekend to do my training there. So
let's talk about the controversy of the 2010 Commonwealth Games then. I mean, you done great in your draw, you boxed very well, got yourself into that final against a Sri Lankan fighter, coincidentally, whose name I always struggle to pronounce.
Manju Vanirachi.
Vanirachi, that's a big name. Talk to me about that and the surrounding incidents that happened after.
So basically, we boxed. The fight went to countback, so it was a close fight anyway. A lot of people thought I won.
And this was the final.
Yeah, this is the final. Yeah. So I was young at the time, my first senior tournament, so I didn't really know what to expect, how it was meant to go. So anyway, the weeks I was back home, then everyone's telling me, I thought you won that, and then I think I just started believing everyone. And I was like, yeah, I probably should have won that fight. And I watched it back a couple of times, and I thought, oh yeah, I could have won that. And then a couple of weeks again, so it was a couple of months after, I think someone called me up and just said, we think he's failed, or he has failed his drug test. but he's appealing it, so it's going to be a procedure where he's got to go to court and explain everything. So that dragged right for even longer, and then I think it was about 8 or 9 months, or maybe even longer again, before I got graded to a gold medal.
So it's quite strange, really, in a weird sort of way. You was robbed of your crowning moment and getting that podium moment and that big sort of push behind you, and then coincidentally you'd done enough to get that medal. It worked out. Yeah.
So that was always the I think it was more harder to take if I'd been beaten or by a lot of points, and maybe beaten by 5 or 10 points or something like that, then maybe it would have been easier to take. But then as soon as I watched the fight back, and then what everyone was saying to me that I won the fight and all, it was more difficult to deal with, knowing that I was so close and he had cheated. It was probably more difficult to take.
Let's fast forward to the here and now. We've just had your first professional weigh-in for your first contest on Sky Sports, shown on the undercard of Anthony Crolla v Jorge Linares. Big moment for yourself. Quite unfortunate that Brett Fideau got caught in traffic and you didn't get that head-to-head face-off moment. But talk to me about the experience of weighing in today.
Just all went so fast. I was so stood up there, and I was like, oh, what do I do now? I didn't really know what to do. It was a bit surreal, like, you know, and being surrounded by, you know, all the great fighters that are up there, and being part of this card is amazing for me, you know, and I'm really looking forward to actually boxing now.
All the GB boys that have signed with MATCHROOM in the past have been fast-tracked to a certain extent because of that high pedigree and high intensity that you guys have fought at week in, week out, etc. Do you see your path a little bit like that? I would like to think that. Obviously, MATCHROOM and MDK will probably look at me tomorrow and then have a better judgment and a better idea of how fast they can move me. But me personally, I want to be moved as fast as possible. You know, I've been in loads of big fights in the amateurs. I'm confident in my own ability, and long as they think so too, then I'm ready to be moved as quickly as possible, really. Welsh boxing's had a little bit of a resurgence recently. Obviously, everyone associates Welsh boxing with Joe Calzaghe and him being the sort of the marquee man. But we've had some great fighters recently coming to fruition from Wales, the likes of Liam Williams, Enzo Macronelli, and even if you look like the closer generation, some good fighters coming through. And Lee Selby and Andrew Selby, who again are a high pedigree, speak for themselves what they've gone to achieve. Where do you slot in that mix, in that name category? Where do you see yourself achieving?
At the minute, I start at the bottom. You know, all the names you just said, they're you know, the world champions, you know, British champions and all that, and the, you know, obviously Enzo's retired, but they're all massive
allegedly
names.
Never right Enzo out.
yeah, true, he might come back. So you know, they've all been there, they've all got their stripes, and they're still gaining more stripes, if you like. You know, I'm just starting off. I'd love to be included in the same category as all them, and hopefully, as long as I keep working hard and fulfilling my potential, I think I can be added alongside him.
It's quite a tough opponent for your first fight, Brett Fideau. We've seen him in with some very experienced fighters, and he always comes to win. He's very, very established in the division.
Yeah.
What sort of fight are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting a tough fight. Like you said, he always comes to win, which is better for me. You know, I don't think I'd want an easy fight, especially for my first one. You know, and it's good for me to see where I'm at, to see if I'm up to scratch and whether I'm good enough, if you like. So it's exciting. And I think the fans will appreciate it a bit more than me fighting someone who will just come in and fall over or maybe not put up a fight. So I think it'd be better for the people coming to watch, and I think it'd be better for myself in the long run as well.
You're on the undercard of Jorge Linares versus Anthony Crolla. Massive chance for Anthony Crolla. He loves a rematch, as we've seen from past experiences. What chances do you give Anthony Crolla of being successful and regaining his title?
In my opinion, I think Crolla's got every chance. Because of who Anthony Crolla is. You know, he's everyone says how hard he trains, how hard he works, and how much he wants to, like, you know. I think that's going to play a massive part tomorrow night. In their last fight, I think Linares slowed sort of late middle rounds. I think that's when Crawler's got to really take his chances. You know, I think we're going to see a different Crawler this time. You know, I think Linares maybe hit him by surprise last time, and I don't think he's got nothing. He's got nothing that he hasn't already done to surprise Crawler with.
With the 3 defeats Linares has suffered in his career, they've all been by a stoppage or KO.
Yeah.
So do you feel that Crawler has to get to him that way rather than try to outbox him?
I think so. You know, Linares is an amazing boxer with amazing hand speed and a good boxing brain. Obviously, he wouldn't be where he is otherwise. But yeah, Crawler's got great power, and you know, he's shown his last fight his defense and stuff. But if he just presses a little bit more, I think he probably could force maybe a late stoppage. You know, because Linares, because he puts so much into his punches, he might get tired. You know, and I'm sure that's probably Crawler's and Joe Gallagher's game plan.
We saw today the Blackpool beef that is Brian Rose and champion Jack Armfield.
Yeah.
Started out best of friends at the start of the week and said that everything was all right and they weren't going to let it get to them, etc. End of the week, we've got heads going in. We've got Bobby Rimmer on the rampage. Talk to me about that experience. What did you make of it?
I don't know. It was just like experiencing. You know. Obviously, you see things like while I always watch the weigh-ins and stuff. So you know, obviously, you see that in big fights like that where tensions are so high. And you know, both fighters are making weight and stuff, and I suppose the emotion just got to them. Like, you know, at the beginning of the week when they were so weight drained, they probably did feel like best friends. But then by the end of the week when they both cut in the last couple of pounds, they probably both hate each other. So, you know, I think that's going to be an amazing fight tomorrow night, and you know, that's just hyped you even more, I think.
Very interesting point. Yeah, when you think about with the weight, that's a very interesting point that you make there. Yeah, who are you going to pick to win?
Brian Rose.
Logic behind that.
I don't know. I think you just got a little bit more. You know, there's not much between them. You know, it's a good fight, and that's why, you know, there's so much hype about it because there is a good fight. But yeah, I'm going with Brian Rose, I think.
What fights interest you at the moment? What fight are you thinking as a boxing man, as a boxing fan? I cannot wait to see that. Talk me through it.
What you mean in general, or
yeah, any fights that have been made at the moment?
Any fights
I know what fights I like, but what fights are exciting you as a boxing fan?
That have been made. I think Joshua Klitschko's interesting, as a boxing person and as sort of a hype perspective as well. I think that's an interesting fight. Do
you feel Joshua can make a statement and claim superiority on the division in stopping Klitschko? Yeah. I think this is a big chance for Josh to really, you know, his name's out there already. He doesn't have to put his name out there. I don't mean like that, but I mean, it's a massive chance to show how good he actually is. Where people can say, "Oh, he wasn't as good as we thought," like Charles Martin and stuff. You know, people then, you know, probably put his performance down a little bit because of the opposition. But if he beats someone like Klitschko, then no one can do that. So it's a big chance for him in that perspective that, you know, he can really show people that he is the real deal. We've also seen Tyson Fury potentially returning, which is fantastic news from my point of view. But what do you think? Oh,
it's amazing, isn't it? You know, Tyson Fury for boxing is class, and you know, he always makes a show of things, you know, and him being Klitschko, I think, you know, he's really opened the heavyweight division up and made it really exciting again.
I can't wait for some of the big fights coming up. As I said, it's interesting tomorrow. Some good scraps on the undercard as well, which is always nice to see.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for talking to iFL TV.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, Sean.